What is going on, everybody? Anon here, and we're going to talk about some ominous signs in the market today across two items that are absolutely on fire. And for those of you who've been around for a while, you know who MVP, I think it's MVP Sports and Games. They're out of Lancaster, PA. A stone's throw from where I'm at. And outside of the rumors that where they get product from, not even going to get into that. They know what's coming. And for anybody who's been paying attention for a while, when MVP Sports starts to fire sell products, it's because there's a reprint coming. Now, on occasion, it could certainly be a coincidence, but for those of you who know, you know. Now, what's interesting is what popped up today, and these are Lord of the Rings set boxes. I've been telling you guys for months that there's a reprint coming. I know it's coming. It's confirmed. It has not landed yet. It's going to ship, I'm guessing, probably in April. Really depends when Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro want the revenue, whether it's in Q1 or Q2. And I will go to Lord of the Rings Commander decks. I've been telling everybody since September, it's on the books. It's getting reprinted. It's coming. And it took a couple months, but it's finally here and it's landed. And what's interesting is the boxes don't have a print date. It just says R3, which I assume is reprint number 3. So we're getting these boxes. We know we're getting these boxes. We don't quite know when. These were originally scheduled, I believe, for December of 2025. But lo and behold, today, somebody in Discord points this out. This is on Amazon. So all of a sudden, it's $219 for Lord of the Rings set boosters. MVP Sports, like, holy shnikes. We go here and we look at TCG Player. It's $330. And this price really hasn't moved. I mean, the high price, I guess, $370, $380. So it looks like it's come down a little bit. It's going to make me log in, so I can't go back that far. But it looks like it's come down a little bit. But we're sitting in the high 360s, and then MVP comes in and undercuts the market by $130 or $140, which makes no sense whatsoever. Now, initially when I saw this, I thought it was Magic the Gathering Store, but when you scroll down further, and this is just a screenshot from earlier, it does say fulfilled by MVP Sports. Now, if you go on their website had them for $286.40, which is still so much below market more than what MVP has been selling for. These guys have been super competitive on price, but not nearly as cheap as what they were in the bear market or really rolling into the bull market here. Now, I'm told that some of these Amazon orders have started to cancel. I don't know if it was a mistake on their end, but still listing these at $289. Then you can see right here, MVP Marketplace. It's still $140, $150. It was $170 below market a couple days ago. So when I say that there's ominous signs, when you have one of the in-the-nose sellers who has very, very close relationships with distribution, certain distributors, they're most likely selling the product for a reason. Now, would I call this a fire sale? No. Would I call this a fire sale? Hell yeah. This is an absolute fire sale. So this tells me that the Lord of the Rings set booster reprint is imminent. I would be surprised. Again, I tend to think it's going to be April just because they need the revenue in Q2. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see distribution start to finalize their purchase orders in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're just not quite sure. Now, here's where it gets more fun. Now we're going to talk Pokemon. Everybody's favorite set, Destined Rivals. All the Boltard PokeTubers. Destined Rivals is going to $7,000 a box. Buy it now. It wasn't a buy at $350. At $350, it was a terrible price. But at $500, it's a screaming buy. That is the idiot Tibby mentality. Especially in Pokemon. Now, these boxes are up as high as 600. They've come down quite a bit, mercifully. I don't know why 18 of them sold, but we see a couple sellers here at 225, and here's our friends, MVP Sports and Games, selling at the low of the market. Generally speaking, they're not the lowest seller. But what's interesting is if we go on their site, they're selling for $480.42. So up until this morning, this was about a $60 discount to market. So call it 15%. And there's no limit. So generally speaking, when a new release comes out, and MVP is trying to sell across the broad number of folks that have access to their site. And for those of you who don't know, if you buy something off eBay, they'll send you a login and you're there. And then they do things based on spend. So the more you spend, the higher your allocation gets. I'm sure they have some sort of database that they have written or some sort of program that they use to calculate it. But there are no limits on this. And there are no limits on Lord of the Rings. I'm going to say Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. So the fact that there are no limits on this and they're undercutting the market by so much, it's not a dead giveaway that they know that their reprint's coming, or that I know that they know that their reprint's coming. But I thought it was interesting enough to make a video and just point out the fact that if one of the biggest sellers with one of the closest relationships to one of the largest distributors is selling Destined Rivals, it's not because they think the product's going up. And then if they're listing it and they're not including a limit of 1 box per person or 2 boxes per person, that just reinforces to me the fact that they don't think the price of the box is going to go up. And then again, we go back to Lord of the Rings. Now, again, Amazon could be an error. I've heard a couple folks say they got canceled. I've heard a couple folks say they haven't. But at 286, when the boxes were at 360, and there's no limit, they're not selling at this price, at this discount to market, if they think the price of the box is going up. And if there's no reprint coming, this is a $500 booster box probably by the end of the year. And everybody knows that. So again, these are some ominous signs that there's reprints most likely coming. And I've been telling you guys about this for a while. And now you see some cold, hard actions by MVP Sports, who, these guys aren't schlubs, man. They are in the know and they act accordingly. So anyway, guys, that's all I have for tonight. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and feel free to comment and tell me that everybody's an idiot, we're all wrong, and Destined Rivals boxes are going to $7,000 a box by the end of the year.